Good morning, darlings. I know when you're watching this, it's probably not going to be morning, but it's morning now, so we're going to go with good morning. I am really excited today to bring you guys another DIY kit. It had finally rained here, so my allergies are back off the charts again. But I love DIY kits. I obviously am a crafter. I own a handcrafted business alongside Look What Meg Found. So I love to make things with my hands, and I don't get DIY kits quite as often as I would like, but I am looking for more for you guys. But when I started my journey into the crafty world, I started making wreaths. And one of the things that I absolutely hate about making wreaths is the fact that you have to spend so much time on material prep. 75% of the time spent making a wreath is simply on prepping your materials. So when Silver Knew Nothing Crafts messaged me about, hey, would you like to take on our DIY kit? I was thrilled. It is everything I love to do about making wreaths without all of the prep work. So let me walk you through what's in the kit. I mean, it's a wreath kit. I'm sure we've all seen wreaths. We all know the big, fluffy, stunningly beautiful wreaths that people make. So let me walk you through the kit and show you what's in it. It starts with directions. I've gone over and read these. These are spot on. If you follow them step by step by step, you are going to wind up with the perfect wreath every single time. Her directions are spot on what you need. You get a wreath form. This is called a work frame. It's already got the, whatever you want to call them, twist ties, pipe cleaners, Chanel stems. These are already attached in place for you, so you don't have to do this. They're in the proper locations where they're going to need to be for you to get the perfect, full, fluffy wreath that you want. Your mesh comes in a roll, pre-cut, exactly the amount you're going to need. So you're not going to have any leftovers. You're not going to have any extras. You're not going to have that one roll that's got like half of enough to do or one piece of a wreath on that you're stuck with trying to figure out what to do with. It also comes with all of the ribbon that you will need to add the ribbon tails to your wreath, already in the pre-cut length, pre-dovetailed, so you don't have to do any of that. Again, one of the biggest time sucks in making a wreath is laying out all of your ribbon, all of your mesh, and getting them to the proper length, getting them cut, getting them dovetailed properly. And it's all done when you open up the package. All of this is in here. My favorite part of the whole thing, and I still need to fluff this bow up, and I will when I put it on the wreath itself. She sends you a pre-made bow. Now, in my years of doing wreaths, none of my wreaths ever had bows, and let me tell you why. I can't make a bow if my life depended on it. So to find an already done, beautiful bow that all I have to do is go back through and fluff it up, and I won't do that till it's on the wreath because it doesn't matter how much you pre-fluff. It always winds up getting flat. When you get it on the wreath and you're manipulating it to get it where you want it, you always wind up flattening it. So I actually won't go through and fluff this one up completely until we're done. That down. And she also includes the sign. This one is great. Life is better in flip-flops. If you guys have seen a single episode of this, you know I'm a Coastal Carolina girl. Life is better in flip-flops. I live in flip-flops 9 to 10 months out of the year because it's perfect. Also, this is a touch that I appreciate having being a former wreather, still making wreaths for my own fun. The zip ties, she'll fire me for that one. The Chanel stem twist tie pipe cleaner is already on a cable mount. So you don't have to try to figure out how you're going to mount it. All you have to do is put the wreath together, line this up, work these through, and attach it. It's genius. Okay? It's genius. The only thing from your own stash that you are going to need to make this wreath is one of two things. You're either going to need a small pair of nippers or a pair of scissors. because as you assemble things, you're going to wind up snipping off the excess of the Chanel stem twist tie pipe cleaner, whatever we're calling it. I call them pipe cleaners, so you're going to hear that a lot. I personally use nippers. This is something that I have on hand because the thought of taking my scissors to something with wire gives me the creepy crawlies and I can't quite do it. So the only thing you're going to need is something to cut the pipe cleaners with after you have assembled everything. Now, you guys know how the DIY kits go. I'm going to reset my rig so you guys are looking down at this table, and we're going to do this together-ish. I know you guys like to hang out with me, but watching me ruffle up mesh and attach it to the work frame might be a little not fun. So I'm going to show you the basic steps and then assemble it off camera and come back and show you how it goes from there once I have the mesh on the wreath form. Now, I will give you a side note. When you order this kit, if you have trouble with the step-by-step written directions, there is also a YouTube channel that will take you step-by-step through each stage of this, which is another reason why I'm not going to bore you guys with watching me do it. Holly has done a much better job than I am going to do just having fun playing and putting it together. So you guys hang out for just a second. I'm going to reset my rig and we're going to make this together. Bye, darlings. Hello, darlings. Now that we are all set up and ready to do this, I want to take you guys through the steps of attaching the mesh to the wreath. It's not complicated. The first time you read the directions, you're going to go, huh? But it's okay, because if you have that moment, like I said earlier, Holly has a step-by-step tutorial on her YouTube channel as well to walk you through this. I'm just giving you my thoughts and opinions on this. But when you start, let me get this out of my way. It wants to be a camera hog. It doesn't get to be a camera hog. So when you start, you've taken one piece of mesh off of the pile. So you have this little roll. It does this. As you can see, it's curled up. It's what mesh does. It's stored on a cardboard tube. It's sold in rolls. It rolls up. So you want it curl side towards the table. See how this is curled up? You're curled down. You want that towards the table. Now you're going to ruffle it up. So you're going to kind of use the back of your palm and your thumbs to anchor this down so it doesn't run away. And you're just going to use the rest of your hand and very carefully pull it all in towards you, and you're going to create a ruffle. And sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate. And you just do that and straighten it back out. And now you have a ruffle. Now you're going to take this ruffle and put it on your frame the same way you ruffled it. So like these cut edges are down. You're going to set it on here, and you want it to be as close to the pipe cleaner as you possibly can get it, because you want this to be really tight. You're going to take this and twist it. See how I'm not like pulling it like I'm going to snap it, but it's got a firm twist to it. And you're going to twist it twice. Now we have an attached ruffle. I'm going to do one more with you guys, and then I'm not going to bore you to death while I put the rest of them on there. So, cut side towards your work surface. Anchor it with your palm and your thumb. That way it doesn't run away. And then just pull at the center, and you'll see how it becomes a ruffle because the mesh likes to move while you're doing this. Voila, that's simple. Another ruffle. You go on to the next tie. Again, the same way you ruffled it. Open it up. Move this one because I always wind up trying to get the wrong one in. Place it down firmly so it's as close to the metal form as you can possibly get it, because you want to tighten this down. 2 twists, and we now have 2 ruffles on the wreath. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other 10 and then come back and we'll put the ribbon and the sign on together. all of the mesh is now on the wreath form. And it's unfortunately gotten big enough that I cannot show you the whole thing on the camera, but I will be back at the very end. You guys already know this. But the next step is to add the ribbon. So when we unpacked the kit and I showed you, we got 6 different ribbons. You choose 6, y'all, 4 different ribbons cut into 6 pieces. So you can choose how you want them to go together, how you want them to coordinate, and where you want them to go on the wreath itself. Because you're going to put them back into the pipe cleaner Chanel stems, but you can decide what order you want. And I got one that's trying to escape. Hold on, guys. There. Now it will go where it's supposed to. I wondered why that one wouldn't fluff up right no matter what I did. Might be because I didn't tighten it down. Okay, so I am going to put the white and the pink together, and the pink and teal and white chevron with the gray. It's going to look amazing. So here's the most complicated part of this. Line your 2 pieces of ribbon up at the dovetails all the way through. Now, fold it in half. Now open it back up now that you've folded it, and see where you kind of have a line right here. Now you can scrunch it together so when you put it in, you have your ribbon together. So we're going to go right. I want the pink and white to be on the inside and the teal and gray to be on the outside edge. You'll know when you put it together, you had spots that were on the, you had ties that were on the inside and ties that were on the outside. So you're going to want to, again, hold it down firmly to the wreath. Get over here so you guys can see between my fingers. And really give this a good, solid, all the way down twist. Then you take your nippers. I told you you were going to need these. Nippers, scissors, whatever. Whatever works for you and you are comfortable with using to cut your pipe cleaner Chanel stem twist tie. Now, if you're a neat, organized crafter, you have a trash bin off to the side where you put these in. If you craft like me, you throw them over your shoulder, you're done. You'll get them when you're finished putting this together. The crafty is more fun. Now take your 2 little cut ends and just tuck them down. Now here is where you make a decision. You either pull these like and straighten up the little ribbon right there so that you get an X, or you leave them in V's. Personally, I'm going to leave them just like this. So we got 6 more of those to do. Again, line them up in half. Scrunch them together. Go to the next one. Set it on top. And twist. Grab the nippers, which I always lose under my wreath when I'm doing stuff like this. Nip it. Nip it. And hey, again, if you're organized and you're neat, you have a cute little trash can to put these ends in because you know you're going to have them. If you craft like I do, you throw them. I'll get them when I'm done. It's much more fun to toss them over your shoulder. And you guys get to hang out with me while I do this. This is not a terribly long process of getting the ribbons on. But I do want to talk to you guys for a second, since I kind of have a captive audience. Like I said in the beginning, I started my handcrafted business 2 years ago as a wreather. And one of the reasons I got out of it is the fact that it is time consuming to prep all of the pieces that you need to do this. So, being able to hook up with Holly at Silver Knew Nothing's Crafts and be able to go through her kits and go, hey, you know what? I really want a kind of beachy themed Life is Better in the Flip-Flop Life is Better in Flip-Flops kind of themed wreath, and being able to have it arrive and being able to just go through the assembly steps, y'all, it's life-changing. It is life-changing. It is so much simpler when you can do the creative part of it, the part that makes you happy, without all of the prep work. So, bottom line, I think everybody needs one of these kits. I think Holly is a genius for coming up with wreath DIY kits. Like, everything is ready to go. Now, excuse me, stand up. This little guy doesn't want to stand up next to its neighbors. Nothing wants to behave today, darlings. Again, I'm just giving it, I'm not creasing that hard, just to open it up. You can see where the line is to scrunch it all together. And everybody has a different technique of scrunching. Bottom line is you want both sides of the ribbon to come together. One more of the pink and white, and then we'll put the gray on. All right, almost done with this one. This is turning out great, y'all. I'm really liking this. And like I said in the beginning, the directions that Holly has prepared are literally step by step. You cannot go wrong. If you are a novice wreath maker who has never made a wreath before, and this is one of those things that you just really want to do, but the process is intimidating, get one of these kits, because this is, this will be your intro into it. This will start the addiction, and then you'll start looking into the supplies, and maybe I'll prep them and make them myself, and then you're going to come to the same realization I did, that it's actually a lot simpler to just order it from Holly. Now, these I'm putting on the outside edge. You remember when we put this together, there was a row of Chanel stems on the inside and a row of Chanel stems on the outside. I'm putting this one on the outside. Gotta fluff everybody up, see? And the more you add to the wreath, the more like you feel like you're digging for what I told you when you were putting them on, when you were putting the ruffles on, to make sure that that you were pulling the tie straight up when you were done. That way you can find it when you're looking at the wreath. This one doesn't want to cruffle. There we go. Now I got it. I know it's boring watching me put ribbon on. Okay, there's the next one. And every single piece you add on, the thicker and fuller the wreath gets, so it feels a little more like you're digging through a forest trying to find where you want to put things. And this, I will be honest with you guys, is actually the first time I've ever worked with what they call a work wreath, where the pipe cleaner, Chanel stem, twist tie is all already attached to the wreath form itself. I have always done the ones where you make the ruffle, wrap the chenille stem around it, tighten it down, and then attach it to the form. I like this, y'all. This is kind of a new thing for me. I like the ease of using the work form. I've always shied away from them because how am I going to get 12 clusters of mesh to fill up a wreath? It's not going to be full. It's going to look empty. As you guys can see, Holly has completely changed my mind on that because every single piece I add, it gets more and more and more fluffy and full. And it's going to look spectacular hanging on my front door. And again, when you nip these off and you throw them over your shoulder, tuck the ends you cut down. That way you get a little extra security right there. And come over here to the next one. We're almost done, guys. I only have 2 more clusters to add, and then we'll put the sign and the bow on. Okay. Line up, fold, bend, and squish. The squishing it's a learned trait. The first couple times you try that, if you haven't done this, if this is attempt number 1 at making a wreath, you're going to feel a little awkward when you squish because the ribbon doesn't always like to squish easily. But just squish it, and if you don't like the way it squishes, just undo it and squish it again. All right, got that one. Here's my last little spot. Nope, I didn't fold it. Did y'all catch that? I did not fold that before I tried to scrunch it. So, now that I have a mark, now we're going to scrunch it up so that we get it in the center. Squish it down. And again, I'm going to come back on. You guys notice I'm going to reset the rig and show you the whole thing again. But now we have all of the ribbon on, which leaves us with the sign. Now, this is going to be the hard part for me because do I want to hang it at the bottom? Do I want to put it in the middle? I'm not sure where I want it to go, y'all. I am thinking right smack dab in the middle is the perfect place for this. So, like I said earlier, these are already mounted to a cable tie. So all you have to do is feed your chenille stem pipe cleaner, twist tie, whatever the name you choose for it is, down through the wreath. Stand it up so you're looking through it. And just line it up where you want it. And stick this through the mesh, which is much more complicated than it sounds. This is the part where you're going to wish you had 3 hands because you're going to know where you want it, and then you're going to want to feed it through, and then it's not going to cooperate. Okay, got one side in. Now we'll see if we can get the other side in without me popping that side up. I have mad skills, y'all. And just find where you want it. Pop that little chenille stem pipe cleaner, twist tie, whatever, right through it. Now, put your hand on the top of your sign before you do what I've done a million times. Flip this over. Now you can see the messy backside of my wreath. You don't want to smash this down because you don't really want to mess with the fluff on the wreath. So now you have it in place where you want it. And this is what I do. Right, wrong. There's always going to be a debate on whether or not I do this right. I take the chenille stem pipe cleaner, twist tie, whatever, and just wrap it around this frame right here. And then after I've wrapped it 3 or 4 times, I go to the center, or it's not really the center, the second one in, and I wrap it as well. You're going to watch me kind of work this across until I get out to this third ring. See, now I'm going to go over to the third ring and wrap until I run out of tie right here. Everyone has their own tried and true perfect way that they attach signs. This happens to be the one that I prefer. I feel like it's got more stability that way if I wrap it across. So same thing with this one over here. I'm gonna just wrap it a few times around the inner ring. And then I'm going to go up to the second ring and wrap it here as well. And go up to the third ring. And this part gets a little futzy. The shorter the chenille stem twist type pipe cleaner. And now I'm curious, y'all, because I know y'all been hanging out with me for a while. What do you call these? I call them pipe cleaners. I have used the phrase pipe cleaners before, and people have not known what the heck I was talking about. So what exactly do you call a pipe cleaner, chenille stem, twist tie? What do you call it? Okay. Now, we have the sign in the center. We have one last piece to put on, and this is the most exciting piece to me. You guys already heard me say this. I can't make a bow. If my life depended on it and you offered me $1 million to tie a bow, I'm not going to get $1 million because I can't do it. Just can't. And I want this bow. I don't know where I want it. I don't want it to cover up my sign where it says life is better in flip-flops. That we know. So I'm going to put this beauty right here, smack dab in the center of the bottom. And I'm not going to pull this one. I'm not going to flip it over this time because I can just pull it off the edge of my work table and get to where I want it to be. Can you guys still see him? No, you really can't. I'm sorry. Okay, I lied. I'm going to flip it over so you guys can see. I have the bow centered at the bottom. I'll work on fluffing and arranging it. And pretty much almost exactly the same thing, only I'm going to wrap it to the second bar. This is 1, 2. And I'm only going to wrap it around the third. I don't want to go all the way to the outside edge with it. And I'm just going to keep wrapping. I just kind of squished it up there a little because it was taking over. I'm just going to keep wrapping until I'm done with this chenille stem pipe cleaner twist tie. Okay. Now, this is not the best shot. We already talked about this. I can't get the whole thing in because of my workspace. So I am going to rearrange the camera again so you guys can see the whole thing, and I'm going to do some fluffing and show you the final product. So again, y'all, I will be back quicker than you guys realized I was going. Okay, darlings, now you guys have watched me put this whole thing together. bit by bit, kind of. I admit it's kind of bit by bit, but that's how you do a wreath. You start with the mesh, then you go back and do the ribbon, then you add on everything else, all of the enhancements, anything else that you want to add to it. So I want to show you guys the finished product. I now have a stunningly beautiful wreath that, y'all, it has a bow on it. I own a wreath now that I made that has a bow on it. I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to be able to say, A, I made this, and B, there's a bow. It's exciting. I mean, if you know me in the real world, you know that bows are something I struggle with 110%, and I gave up on them a long time ago. So here is your beautifully, stunningly done wreath that you can hang on your front door or wherever it is you choose to hang wreaths. And when people ask, oh, where'd you get it? You get to say, I did that. Or if you're like me and you get really proud of things and you revert to your inner 2-year-old, me did. See, me did this. I'm really proud of myself on this one, guys. But I would not have gotten these results if it had not been for the instructions that Holly created to include. So here's my final thoughts, because as you guys know with these DIY kits, I don't do one in advance to make sure I know what I'm doing. I do them in, I won't say real time, because you guys didn't really want to sit and watch me put every single little ruffle on. That I know. So I did them. This is the fastest wreath start to finish that I have ever done. I love it. I am already scoping out her site looking for Christmas themed and Halloween themed ones that I can make for my own house. Because again, I like, hey, look, I got a Chanel stem on my shirt. I like to be able to say, I made that, which is why DIY kits appeal to me. I am a crafter. I am a handmade artist, whatever word you want to use, whatever word identifies the most with you. But I love the idea of being able to get a DIY kit and do it myself. So that being said, guys, you know the drill. If you like what you saw today, make sure you go check out Holly and Silver Knew Nothing Crafts. I'm going to link to both her Etsy stores. One is ready-made, pre-done wreaths, so you can just order the wreath. One is wreath supplies and DIY kits. I'm going to link to both of them. I'm also going to link to all of her social media accounts so that you can follow her and see all the amazing things that she does. You guys know, click the subscribe button, hit the bell, set that to all. That way you guys know when I put out new videos. And all of my links to follow me on social media, to join my Patreon, to buy me a coffee, all of those are on the description of this video as well. And I will be back in a little while with something new and awesome to show you guys. Bye, darlings.